All right, welcome back. It's day 73. Hopefully it's down a little bit. Okay, that should be better. But welcome back. Day 73. I made it yet again. Um man, life is such a struggle, but it's all good at the same time. I am still working through my setup upgrades. So, again, I'm going to try to keep an eye on everything. It was I'm finding a new configuration for my desk, and I realized yesterday at some point during me redoing everything, I broke the cord to my microphone. I mean, luckily I had a spare, but I realized I broke the cord to my microphone. So I almost didn't stream today because yesterday my audio was really iffy when I did the podcast live stream, which kind of irked me, but it's all good. Hopefully folks that did catch that material found it useful. Yesterday I was just talking about like how you can use GitHub as your technical portfolio. So I pretty much went through all the features and talked about that on the podcast, but then, my audio was like really crackly, and I don't know why that was, but I was able to figure out why this mic wasn't working, so I'm happy about that. But bear with me while I'm like transitioning because it's growing pains, but growing pains are good because that means things are moving forward. So I probably won't spend too much time today, but again, like it's important for me to push towards being live every day in August, because this is the last stretch of the challenge. So, like, we're almost 75% of the way there. And I gotta say, in all honesty, like, it's been a little iffy just because I haven't, like, I have some days are good, some days are not as productive. But all in all, I'm still trying to push through the challenge because, like I said, it's not just about the idea of doing this 100 days of code. I know that after this, at the end of this challenge, I'm going to be transitioning into going back to school. So, amongst me teaching and, running live streams and trying to build more content, just like technical content overall for the community, and then obviously having a 1 year old, I'm going back to school, and it's going to be like it's cute computer science. So is definitely going to be demanding. So my goal for the challenge has always been to kind of find what'll kind of try to strike a balance and see what is going to work for me so that I could be setting myself up for success when it comes to going back to school. So obviously, I mean, maybe not obviously because I probably don't necessarily look it, but like I'm older, I turned 33 this year, so I'm going back to school after being out for mm, at almost as long as I've been in software basically, because when I left school originally, it was the year that I took my boot camp. Hacker Fellows Labs 2016, I think. My cause IEO. Yeah. So 2016, basically 2015 is the last time I've been in school, like in the university. So I mean, I it's overwhelming, but I am super excited to go back to school. I have to say that. Like I don't want to make it seem like, oh, like I'm not looking forward to it. I am. I just know how demanding it is going to be, and I'm going for like a longer term journey. So going back to school, finishing a bachelor's program. Although I was a mechanical engineering student, but I would like to finish in computer science because that's obviously more relevant to me at this point in my life. So finishing up that material and then doing like a master's program and going into a PhD program. Like that's my plan, that's my goal. So with that being said, I am trying to figure out a way to make sure that all the things that I'm doing actually, align and work out, and I'm setting myself up for success because I also need to be keeping in mind that I want to be uh, a very competitive, have a competitive profile when it comes to me applying to especially PhD programs. So yeah, grades matter a lot. And it's not the only thing that, I don't know. Grades matter. That's all I got to say. As much as, we like to be like, "Oh, it's the skills and everything blah blah blah." Like if you ever been in a university setting, like at the end of the day, they want to see that GPA, especially for like applying to programs. Obviously, for well, maybe I'm always saying obviously, so I'm sorry, but for PhD programs, a lot of times it's like your grades matter, but what like your research, your capacity for research, matters a lot as well, maybe even more so. But still, honestly, like if you come in with like a really low GPA, you might not even get considered. So, and then even if you were to get considered or get accepted, realistically, like you have to keep up a certain GPA or keep a certain grade in order to even maintain your student status. So I don't know, because some people probably don't realize that in undergrad you can basically just have whatever GPA. C's get degrees, and if you graduate, you graduate, and then you go off into the workforce. But if you go to grad school, in grad school you can't get less than a B. Like a lot of grad programs, basically if you get less than a B, that doesn't count as passing the class. So you have like a certain bar that you have to maintain. So anyways, that's just kind of going off on a side note, but these are the kind of things that are on my mind. So um every day that I do make progress and get to put some time towards the live streams and everything for the rest of this month, that is my goal. And yeah, I'm still working on my setup, so I'm excited about it just because uh I already feel more comfortable studying and working on projects and stuff. um I feel like I'm going to be a lot more productive now because my space was not like conducive to a work environment. Why does this have to take me here every time? Like it's super irritating, but I should be able to go to like my learner home now. Okay. So I am on this college algebra. I was doing like rates and stuff last time, and my brain was kind of like, yeah, no. Um, I thought I was okay, and now I smell food, and I'm like kind of getting hungry, so that sucks. But otherwise, I think I'm good. So I need to figure out where I was. I think I was on this practice section right here. So I'm gonna try it. I don't know. I'm not sure I ever had like the best skills in doing like linear, like setting up these like linear rate problems. Obviously, I can solve them, but it's like I don't know if that was ever my thing. So it's okay. I mean, this is not like necessarily a specific skill I'm looking at like mastering per se, but overall, I am just trying to do my due diligence in refreshing on the general material, right? I want to refresh on algebra. Why do I care about refreshing on algebra? Well, it is a fundamental part of a lot of things that are going to come when as far as getting into other, getting into calculus and linear and all that. So it might seem like overkill. It might be overkill. But this is the type of person that I am. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna just see if I can get through these problems. I want to finish this unit sooner rather than later. Oh, okay. So, since I already did one question, I still have progress for that. So, that's nice. I want to make this a little bit bigger just because maybe you actually care about what the heck I'm looking at. But yeah, I'm so upset. Somebody decided to start cooking literally while I'm freaking streaming. I get so distracted when I'm hungry. Like, I don't know. I'm that person. And I don't know. It's like if you um just like you can be active and like being physically active burns calories, like brain using your brain power burns calories as well. And so that's another thing. I literally was like, "Oh, okay, I'm not thirsty, I'm not uncomfortable, I'm not hungry. I can sit down and study for a minute and now just smell food." Oh, that's a off. That's not bad. It's just I be mixing up flavors and that I don't know what I expected that to be, but it's not what I expected at all. All right. I am gonna get some type of timer situation going on too. Ouch. All right, so let me scroll up. Okay, after finishing the prep work, I'm so mad about smelling this food. Like it's super distracting. Okay, after finishing the prep work, Gilberta and Maria start removing wallpaper at the same time. Gilberta removes the wallpaper at a constant rate of 4.3 meters squared per hour. Maria removes her wallpaper at 3.4 meters squared per hour. Gilberta's room starts with 35 meters squared. Maria's room starts with 30.5 meters squared. T represents the time in hours since they started removing the paper. Okay. Complete the inequality to represent the times when Gilberta has more wallpaper left in her room than Maria has in hers. Okay, so I think I got this. All right. So Gilberta 4.3 meters squared per hour and starts with 35. I literally am gonna have to eat something. Okay, hold on. I will be right back. Okay, I had to give myself something. I don't remember having this problem early in my earlier years, but like in recent days, if I'm hungry, like I cannot concentrate. And especially if I'm trying to do something like literally use my brain, I have to eat. Right, so wallpaper left for Gilberta is 35 meters squared minus 4.3 meters squared per hour times T. And Maria, like 30. Okay, so I think if I use what I set up as my equations, then it'll take them 5 hours. They will have the same amount of wallpaper left. Yeah, they'll have the same amount of wallpaper left at 5 hours. So between while T is less than 5 hours, it says complete the inequality to represent the times when Alberta has more wallpaper. I mean, Gilberta has more wallpaper than Maria. So Gilberta has more wallpaper from the time they start until 5 hours in. So while T is less than 5, but not equal to, because when it's equal to 5, then they have the same amount. That's hopefully that works because, like I said, it's not my forte. But as much as I want to kind of like skip over it, I really don't want to shy away from stuff, especially like even when I'm doing something that is like chosen, even when it's a chosen like studying, process, or a chosen course that I'm not getting a grade for, that I still don't want to like, I really don't want to take shortcuts because shortcuts do not pay off in math at all. Okay, so they will have the same, both scenes will have the same amount of pixels rendered at 14 minutes. 14 minutes. But it says how many more minutes, right? No, they don't tell us how many minutes it took initially, so I'm just gonna go with 14. All right, Jaquan passed the checkpoint jogging at a constant speed, 9 kilometers per hour. 2 minutes later, Odalis passed the same checkpoint. If Odalis runs at a constant speed of 12 kilometers per hour, then how far past the checkpoint will Odalis be when they catch up to Jaquan? Okay. All right. I may have to do a different offset. The is it the id or the ID of Alan? Thank you for the read. Welcome. I'm just over here stretching my brain muscles. How's it going? First one, you got it. Yeah. Okay. The wait, did I say? I don't even remember what I said first. Is it id? Oh my goodness. I remembered id. Id. Okay. Yeah. Because I'm like, I don't know. Uh, software makes me think about like IDs every time I see ID. But yes, welcome. Hopefully you had a good stream. What were you working on? Uh, let's see. Twitch has something fancy I can do, right? Yeah, do that one. The Am I like the late shift person? And is it? I just realized I'm streaming at like 1 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, working on friggin' algebra. ASCII art tool. Oh, that sounds fun. I hope you did enjoy it. But yeah, so for me, I am here. Am I following you already? Maybe not. Okay, now I am. Um, on the Alice in Wonderland project. I so I am an experienced software engineer, but like I am transitioning into machine learning, and although it is not super necessary to specifically like go very nitty gritty on math, depending on what your goals are in machine learning, because I am interested in like research slash also about to go back to school slash yeah, I'm about to like get on the on the PhD track. That's like my long-term goal, and I want to do more like AI machine learning research and stuff like that. So it has been almost, I was just figuring this out earlier. I haven't been in school since like 2015. I think like traditional university. So yeah, my math is super rusty. But also math is my favorite subject. So a lot of it is like coming back to me easily, but I have to take like a calculus credit because my calculus credits are too old for my to get admitted into my computer science program. So um but I figured before I jump into calculus, because it literally has been so many years since I did any like college level math, I am kind of like refreshing my algebra skills, and then I'm going to do algebra pre-calc, and then I'll take my calc credit, which I don't know if I necessarily can show that, but I'm going to do like a study.com calculus so that I can get admitted into my program. And then, yeah, it's a long term strategy, it's long term play here. So, the goal with PhD, other than knowledge, is I'm not going to say I specifically have, am like stuck on NLP, but NLP has usually been my primary interest. Um, but yeah, I want to do research in natural language processing, and hopefully contribute some new ideas to the field. We'll see. Also, I teach, so I am interested in like transitioning to academia, um, and have like lots of opinions and stuff about what that experience is like for people and how to make it different. So I think it's about time for me to start to transition into that realm. Yeah, so I'm interested in the theory and the research, and just overall, I don't know. I like to stretch my brain. So um that's kind of where I am right now. I don't know if that answers your question. NLP, does that make you into LLMs? Hypothetically, yes. Actually, LLMs are super interesting to me. I love it. Like everything that's going on so much. Um when I first started learning about machine learning, we didn't have LLMs. So this new phase that we have going on right now is like, it's kind of sweet. I ain't gonna lie, because before I've been like, developers, y'all need to know what machine learning is, and it wasn't practical. Like, it wasn't being applied super practically to the point where people saw like why they should care about it, and now it's like everybody realizes that at least in some capacity you should understand what's going on. So that's kind of satisfying just to see that it's starting to take shape, but it's also a little, it's a little scary. I'm not gonna say scary, but we have to be careful. That's all I would say. So yeah, I'm excited about it though. My sister claims ChatGPT is just autocomplete. Is the right or no? ChatGPT is not really autocomplete. I mean, it's it's technically it is completion, but it's not autocomplete like we've experienced, because it like the language model actually has some level of reasoning, and versus like autocomplete that we're used to, where it's like, oh, people type this in a certain number of times, and then it's usually autocomplete is still some type of algorithm where it's like, okay, I'm doing some type of search to figure out which letter or which word could possibly come next based off of literally like those like a graph or something. But no, a language model is way different than that. It's like ChatGPT, how many parameters is ChatGPT trained on? GPT is GPT 4, let's do 3.5. I don't think 4 is, I don't know if 4 is the main model right now. I know if you have like premium or whatever, you can use 4, but most people are using 3.5, I think. How many training parameters? Like, it's so much deeper than just being like it's autocomplete. But it's text completion. It is technically text completion. Um, but the model has seen so many forms of like human language to the point where it can pretty much predict what it should be saying next based, But calling it autocomplete, that's kind of funny. Is a parameter a bit like the neuron in the brain? Hold on, let me see. Parameter. Where? I know it's like some built. Oh wait. Okay. GPT 3.5 was developed in January. Blah blah blah. One is 1.3 billion parameters. One is 6 billion parameters, and one is 175 billion parameters. I don't know what their exact parameters are, but it's like a neuron. You're saying like the connections in between. That's probably a fair that's probably a fair assessment, yeah, or analogy, parallel, whatever. Take some rest from your Vimception. Yes, get food. I literally started to stream and realized I was hungry, and some like my brother started cooking, so I got some freaking Nutella and some pretzels. But thank you for the raid, and I hope you have a good one. We have 10 billion neurons. And I'm listening to AI music too. I feel weird because I like start dancing to it. I'm like, it's not real. I mean, I was about to say it's not real music. I should not say that. It is definitely real music. Um, does this diet make you American? Wait, because I'm eating Nutella and pretzels? I'm just hungry. I was just hungry. And I never bought Nutella in my life, but my sister gave me like a little mini jar at Christmas time, and it was so random. She gave me a mini, like a little, literally a little tiny jar like this big at Christmas time, and one day I was like craving something sweet, but I didn't have really anything. And I was like, oh yeah, I got that one little tiny jar of Nutella. This was like literally a couple weeks ago. So I grabbed a little jar and then I was like dipping pretzels in it. I was like, oh, this is a nice snack. So when I was getting ready to stream tonight, all of a sudden, like I start smelling food as soon as I started. And I don't know, I'm weird. I can't focus if I'm hungry. I can't sleep if I'm hungry. Like, so especially trying to use like brain power. So I just grabbed the pretzels and the Nutella. It's like a nice little. I like the sweet and salty. It's pretty good. But yeah, so for the I've been doing a lot of different things over this last what 100 days, almost 100 days. 70, what's today, 73. I've been doing a lot of things. If you're interested in learning about AI as a developer, I highly recommend fast.ai. They have a good blog and good materials. Also, Fast AI has a framework for doing different machine learning applications, training, and some applications for machine learning. But in addition to that, they have a course called Practical Deep Learning for Coders. So this is the course I'm going to finish, but I really like this course. And again, like yes, I am diving very deep into math because I am specifically interested in theory, machine learning theory. And if you really don't know anything about machine learning in particular, when you think about the underlying like foundational concepts of machine learning, it's a lot of like matrix math. It's basically linear algebra, differential equations, like that realm of mathematics is like most of the underlying principles, or a lot of the underlying concepts are based on that or use that math in order to, create these different architectures and strategies that we have now. So with that being said, by me wanting to get into theory and research, that is why I am kind of rehashing that. But you don't have to be like me. You could just be like, hey, I want to learn about machine learning. What is a LLM? Natural language processing, or computer vision as well. Fast AI has a really good course and it's free, obviously. It's a really nice setup. It's really practical. So, it's hands on. They get you like starting to um, apply some of the concepts by using some of the libraries that are available. So you can use the Fast AI library as well as PyTorch and some other stuff. So they kind of get you started at the beginning, showing you how to use the libraries in order to do some training. Really state of the art training, to be honest, with libraries. And then they kind of take you through all the different topics. So the part one is the course that they've had around for a while, but they recently released part two, maybe this year. I think this year they released part two, either this year or early last, or at the end of last year. So in part two they do stable diffusion. So if you've been seeing like text to image, basically in this image generation, that would be more under the stable fusion category. So you could definitely look into course.fast.ai. It's a lot of other resources out there, but this one is like one of the best ones that I've seen so far. So I don't know who that's for, but if anybody's interested, these resources are available to you. And for developers, like I've been harping on this for like years now, but um like I said, it's not necessary to know the nitty gritty like math behind everything. Just like a lot of people might not necessarily like know how to, build a server from the ground up, or people might not necessarily know how to implement a specific like search algorithm or whatever the case may be. Um, but you can use, as developers, we use libraries and frameworks all the time, that offload specific components, specific parts of our applications, so that we can focus on whatever our area of expertise is. So when you think about like going through some material from Fast AI, for example, that's it's basically the same thing. It's showing you how, as a developer, you can start to actually apply machine learning, practically, using different libraries and frameworks, and still teaching you the high level concepts and everything. So, this is a really great starting point for a lot of people if you're interested. And then I have a. Is it in here? It should be. Oh, I didn't put the. What is wrong with me? I didn't put the Notion board in here. Um but yeah, I have a Notion board that I use to create resources for folks that are, I mean, it's for me, and it's also for other people that are interested in, um here, let me log in. It's also for people that are interested in AI and ML. So it's like it's a constantly evolving board, but I'm going to share the link. So if anybody wants to, I have links to stuff like the Fast AI course and other types of courses if you're interested in NLP, which is natural language processing, or LLMs, large language models. I haven't really dug too much into computer vision, stable diffusion, and stuff like that, but I post resources like that sometimes too on there. So I will share that as well, in case anybody wants to peek. Where is it? But yeah, so I'm just on a little study session tonight. Next goal for ML is to learn how to k-means cluster in Postgres. So what, okay, did I miss it? Binary 64, what kind of work or interest do you have in machine learning? I don't think I missed it, did I? Here's the let me bring this back. I'm like streaming on my MacBook, and it don't be like it don't be down for the it don't be down for the me having multiple stuff things open. So it's not that pretty right now, but don't judge me, because it's a work in progress, and it's like, you know I teach, I do all this stuff. So but it is something that I'm working on. So it's not super pretty, but it has a lot of resources on here. So I have to share it. And I'm always updating this. So I will share the link in case anybody wants to follow it. You can. Um but yeah, so I just added some more math stuff here, because I'm just getting to this part in my journey right now of like rehashing this. Now, for the record, I have already literally taken like the entire calculus series, um, differential equations, linear algebra, all of that when I was in school, like in my, early 20s or whatever. So, but the thing is, that was like 10 years ago, almost. So since it has been a long time and I'm about to get back into school, again, I know that my diffie-q and my linear algebra is going to be really essential to like possibly finding some new approaches, or really understanding the mathematics behind a lot of the different research that's going on right now in machine learning. So I don't want to just jump back to that. So that's why I'm starting with algebra, because to be quite honest, like, I know I could probably skip algebra. I could probably skip pre-calculus, but then I'll pick up calculus, and I'm gonna be like, wait, what's that one equation? What's that one? Like how you factor polynomials? Like I don't got time to be trying to, you know, remember stuff that I haven't did in 10, 15 years. So I'm just starting from the ground up just so I can make sure that I feel fresh. But I've done all of these classes before in college. This was my bread and butter, bro. Like I really liked this point in life, but I never found actual uh I didn't find like a practical way to apply it until I realized that machine learning is literally like matrix math. Um, and then my life changed. So, anyways, these are the classes that I'm following right now. So those are there. Sometimes if I see other communities, I add those. I follow like I'm in the U.S. right, so I follow hearings from like our different like Senate and House committees. I follow like the AI, how AI policy making is going. So I do post like different resources about those. And then some of these are just different courses that I add as I see them. So Fast AI is on here. And then there are some other cool courses. This one, this is not the one I was thinking about, but this is the other thing I wanted to show y'all today in case anybody didn't see it. I got an email about it because I follow Weights and Biases, but they have Weights and Biases partnered with Weights and Biases is an AI or a machine learning like um, development platform, I guess you could say. And they partnered with Deep Learning AI to do a LLM and generative AI course. So I just got this email, but they said that they're doing like this one course, and if you finish it by Thursday of next week, and you share a screenshot, then you could win a prize possibly. So I thought that was interesting. I have to look at the course and see which one it is, but in case anybody's interested, and I'll put this. I can probably upload this. I'll put this on the AI ML Hub because I'm in the Weights and Biases Discord, but you can actually join their Discord and then go to the courses channel as well. They have a nice Discord server. So la la la. But yeah, what else is on here that anybody cares about? Oh, this is my favorite, but this section right here is I mean, this is an embedded web page, but this is like a guy named Victor who is tracking all of the large language model slash transformer based models, the research and the models themselves. Um, so like Chat GPT, GPT is their model, and then there's other models. If you know, like Facebook has Llama, Google has Palm right now. It's a lot of them. So this graph is just either research papers, the models that come from the research, and then also sometimes when the models get trained on a specific data set. Um, I think some benchmarking as well. So he keeps track of a lot of that stuff in here. So if you're like me and you care about like the different research that's being done, and want like kind of like one central place to look at that for LLMs, I find this to be really awesome. So I have it embedded, but you can click out to kind of load it up on another page as well. But I like being able to see this when I load in, so that's why I have it embedded. And when I see events, classes and webinars and stuff, I do put those on here, conferences that are machine learning related to. And yeah, so there's other stuff, but that is my little project right now. So yeah, at this point, this is my last question for the this section, but I was doing like linear rates, and I honestly, this is not like my specialty, but I feel like I'm doing okay with the problems. Um, let's see, I will put this here. If you are in Discord or if you joined in Discord in our AIML channel, the AIML hub is pinned in that channel as well. Okay, so I'm just trying to think through this. 2 minutes after Jaquan, then Odalis passes the checkpoint. So how can I do this? Oh, Jaquan is running 9 kilometers per hour. So in 2 minutes, 9 kilometers per hour times. Oh, yeah, I gotta convert to 2 minutes. First of all, um, or convert the hours to minutes. Let's do that first. 9 kilometers per hour. And then 12 kilometers per hour. 1 hour to 60 minutes. I need to get me a calculator too. Of course, I'm gonna be a nerd and get like a cute calculator. Okay, so 3 goes in there 3 times 3/20 kilometers per minute. Does that make sense? Yeah, I guess so. 12/60. 3. 4 goes into that. 4 goes into that. Oh, 1, 4, 20, 15. Right, 15 times 4 is 60. Oh, I'm slow. 12 goes into both of those. So 12 over 60 is also 1 over 5. Yeah. Right. So instead of 9 kilometers per hour, that's 3 kilometers per minute. And then Odalis is going to be 1 kilometer per minute. So when Odalis passes the checkpoint, wait, which one is which? This one is J. This one is O. So when Odalis passes the checkpoint, Jaquan has gone 3 kilometers per minute times 2. No, wait. I lost the whole denominator. That's how you mess a problem up. It's 3/20ths of a kilometer per minute. 20. Okay. So he will have gone 3/10 of a kilometer. So that's his head start. So he'll be 3 kilometers per 20 minutes. Plus where is it? I lost my way. Calculator already on your computer? No, you can't. I'm not about to use the computer calculator for like calculus, you know? Like right now it's fine, but I also don't like always being on the computer because I don't know, maybe I'm quote unquote old school. It's like old school ish. So it's like I'm used to having like a physical calculator, you know? And a lot of times you end up having limitations on what you can and can't be doing on the computer for school. So that's the only thing. But yeah, I mean, I get it because it's like, they have scientific and they do have programmer. I never really used this one, but yeah, they have the scientific one, but it's not the same. I need like a TI-83 or a TI-84. What's it called? Back market. I just found out that I can get a refurbished calculator from Back Market, so probably gonna be doing that because might as well. I got my MacBook from here recently, but the other day when I was talking about calculators, I just found out you can get calculators on here. They have a category for it, but is it under back to school right now? Oh. I literally clicked the wrong thing. I saw C and I just pressed it. That was reading is fundamental. Reading is fundamental. It's weird though because They definitely have a calculator category, but it's not showing up. Probably because calculators are not like as high ticket as like a MacBook. Is it under accessories? I don't know. Anyways, yeah, so I'm used to having like a TI 83 or I never was fancy enough to get the TI 84, but I used some other people's TI 84. And then this is like new. This model right here. This is, I mean, I don't know how new it is, but we didn't have these. So, yeah, I need a pink calculator though. This is the one I wanted. This one, they used to have this one. We used to have this one. But I think this is like a more updated version. I like this hot pink one. So yes, it matters to me, and I'm gonna get a freaking pink calculator because. But they got this one right here now. It's still a TI 84. Yeah, so like a graphing calculator, something like this. Very, very helpful to your productivity once you get to that point in life, like having to graph stuff regularly. Um, I think this is a strategy that I'm going for. My new my newest personal learning about myself when it comes to like transitioning back into like studying and everything is snacking is important. Like I didn't think I was hungry for real. I gotta come in on a full stomach. Yeah, so I converted my rates already. Wait, not. Oh, yeah. 9 over 60, so 3 over 20. I got that. And I got 1/5 for Dallas and T minus 2. Okay. 3. So 3 kilometers per 20 minutes, right? Times T. And then the other one is 1/5, 1 kilometer per 5 minutes times T minus 2. 3 over 20 T is equal to 1/5 T minus 2/5. It's such a minor thing, but it's also not. I like hate these pencils. These Pentel pencils, like I gotta be doing something wrong because maybe I'm not locking my eraser in. Like it's like I don't know. Does anybody care about stuff like this? Like this eraser go up and down like that, and the one I was replacing, the eraser doesn't like click up and down. It twists. But they didn't have the brand that I usually use, so I just tried those, and I am really not a big fan. I'm literally gonna end up wasting all these. I should get a handheld eraser probably, because I'm gonna end up wasting all these pencils. I'm just gonna take all the lead and fill up my other pencil that I don't have a replacement for. Okay, so I have 3/20 T is equal to 1/5 T minus 2/5. I gotta be careful because I almost combined the wrong terms together. So we could say 2/5 is equal to 1/5 T minus 3/20 T. Is this a good way to spend a Friday night, or is this a depressing way to spend a Friday night? I don't know. 1/5 minus 3/20. 4 minus 3. Alright, so if 2/5 is equal to 1/20th t, then 20 times 2/5 is t. 40. So t is 8 minutes. How far past the checkpoint? Oh, okay. So at 8 minutes, that should be the point where they are. I think that should be the point where they are caught up with each other. Here I can check it. 320 kilometers per minute times 8 minutes. And then 1 kilometer per 5 minutes times 8 minus 2 minutes. Six over 5, 6/5. 20. 24/20. 4 goes in there 5 times and then 6. So yeah, at 8 minutes they are going to be same distance, 6/5 of a kilometer. How far past the checkpoint will Odalis be when they catch up? Wait, don't they have the... Oh, they don't have it. It's not gonna do it for me. Oh my God, hallelujah. Okay, I'm done. I'm not doing rates again. Please don't make me do more race problems. I really hate those, like, a lot. Okay, absolute value equations. I'm not sure when the last time is I seen these before, but I think I need to refresh on the rules for these for sure.
Let's do some equations that deal with absolute values. And just as a bit of a review, when you take the absolute value of a number, let's say I take the absolute value of -1, what you're really doing is you're saying how far is that number from 0? And in the case of -1, if we draw a number line right there, that's a very badly drawn number line. So if we draw a number line right there, that's 0. You have a -1 right there. Well, it's 1 away from 0. So the absolute value of -1 is 1. And the absolute value of 1 is also, it's also 1 away from 0. It's also equal to 1. So on some level, an absolute value is, it's a distance from 0. But another, I guess, simpler way to think of it, it always results in a positive version of the number. The absolute value of negative 7,346 is equal to 7,346. So with that in mind, let's try to solve some equations with absolute values in them. So let's add the equation. The absolute value of x minus 5 is equal to 10. And one way you can interpret this, and I want you to think about this, this is actually
X
saying that
plus
the
5
distance
equals
between
10 and
x
x minus
and
5
5
equals 10.
is equal to
I remember
10.
this.
So
Okay.
how many numbers that are exactly 10 away from 5? And you can
You have to
already
solve two
think of the
different
solution to this
equations.
equation, but I'll show you how to solve it systematically. Now, this is going to be true in two situations. Either
X
x
plus
minus
5 or
5
x
is
minus
equal
5.
to positive 10, right? If this evaluates out to positive 10, then when you take the absolute value of it, you're going to get positive 10. Or, or x minus 5 might evaluate to negative 10. If x minus 5 evaluated to negative 10, when you take the absolute value of it, you would get 10 again. So x minus 5 could also be equal to negative 10. Both of these would satisfy this equation. Now, to solve this one, add 5 to both sides of this equation. You get x is equal to 15. To solve this one, add 5 to both sides of this equation. X is equal to negative 5.
Am I remembering
So
that
our
wrong or did I
solution, there's
learn a
two
different
x's that
strategy?
satisfy this equation.
It's the
X could
same
be
thing, right?
15. 15 minus 5 is 10. Take the absolute value, you're going to get 10. Or x could be negative 5. Negative 5 minus 5 is negative 10. Take the absolute value, you get 10. And notice, both of these numbers are exactly 10 away from the number 5. Let's do another one of these. Let's do another one. Let's say we have the absolute value of x plus 2 is equal to 6. So what does that tell us? That tells us that either x plus 2, that the thing inside the absolute value sign is equal to 6, or the thing inside of the absolute value sign, the x plus 2 could also be negative 6, right? If this whole thing evaluated negative 6, you take the absolute value, you'd get 6. So, or x plus 2 could equal negative 6. And then if you subtract 2 from both sides of this equation, you get x could be equal to 4. If you subtract 2 from both sides of this equation, you get x could be equal to negative 8. So these are the two solutions to the equation. And just to kind of have it gel in your mind that absolute value, you can kind of view it as a distance, you could rewrite this problem as the absolute value of x minus negative 2 is equal to 6. And so this is asking me what are the x's that are exactly 6 away from negative 2. Remember, up here we said what are the x's that are exactly 10 away from positive 5, right? Whatever number you're subtracting from positive 5. These are both 10 away from positive 5. This is asking what is exactly 6 away from negative 2. And it's going to be 4 or negative 8. You could try those numbers out for yourself. Let's do another one of these. Let's do another one, and we'll do it in purple. Let's say we have the absolute value of 4x. I'm going to change this problem up a little bit. 4x minus 1. The absolute value of 4x minus 1 is equal to, actually I'll just keep, is equal to 19. So just like the last few problems, 4x minus 1 could be equal to 19. 4x minus 1 could be equal to 19. Or 4x minus 1 might evaluate to negative 19, because then when we take the absolute value, you're going to get 19 again. Or 4x minus 1 could be equal to negative 19. And then you just solve these two equations. Add 1 to both sides of this equation. We could do them simultaneously even. Add 1 to both sides of this. You get 4x is equal to 20. Add 1 to both sides of this equation. You get 4x is equal to negative 18. Divide both sides of this by 4. You get x is equal to 5. Divide both sides of this by 4. You get x is equal to negative 18 over 4, which is equal to negative 9 halves. So both of these x values satisfy the equation. Try it out. Negative 9 halves times 4. This will become a negative 18. Negative 18 minus 1 is negative 19. Take the absolute value, you get 19. You put a 5 here. 4 times 5 is 20 minus 1 is positive 19. So you take the absolute value. Once again, you'll get a 19. Let's try to graph one of these just for fun. So let's say I have y is equal to the absolute value of x plus 3. So this is a function or a graph with an absolute value in it. So let's think about two scenarios. There's one scenario where the thing inside of the absolute value is positive. So you have the scenario where x plus 3, I'll write it over here, x plus 3 is greater than 0. And then you have the scenario where x plus 3 is less than 0, right? When x plus 3 is greater than 0, this graph or this line, or I guess we can't call it a line, this function is the same thing as y is equal to x plus 3, right? If this thing over here is greater than 0, then the absolute value sign is irrelevant. So then this thing is the same thing as y is equal to x plus 3. But when is x plus 3 greater than 0? Well, if you subtract 3 from both sides, you get x is greater than negative 3. So when x is greater than negative 3, this graph is going to look just like y is equal to x plus 3. Now, when x plus 3 is less than 0, in the situation where the inside of our absolute value sign is negative, in that situation, this equation is going to be y is equal to the negative of x plus 3. How can I say that? Well, look, if this is going to be a negative number, if x plus 3 is going to be a negative number, right? That's what we're assuming here. If it's going to be a negative number, then when you take the absolute value of a negative number, you're going to make it positive. That's just like multiplying it by negative 1. If you know you're taking the absolute value of a negative number, it's just like multiplying it by negative 1 because you're going to make it positive. And this is going to be the situation. This is the x plus 3 is less than 0 if we subtract 3 from both sides when x is less than negative 3. So when x is less than negative 3, the graph will look like this. When x is greater than negative 3, the graph will look like that. So let's see what that will make the entire graph look like. Let me draw my axes. That's my
Why is this
x-axis.
Xmas?
That's my y-axis. So just let me multiply this out just so that we have it in mx plus b form. So this is equal to negative x minus 3. Negative x minus 3. So let's just figure out what this graph would look like in general. Negative x minus 3. Negative x minus 3. The y-intercept is negative 3. So 1, 2, 3. And negative x means it slopes downward, has a downward slope of 1. So it would look like this. It would look like this. The x-intercept would be at x is equal to, so if you say y is equal to 0, that would happen when x is equal to negative 3. So it's going to go through that line, that point right there. And the graph, if we didn't have this constraint right here, would look something like this. It would look something like that. That's if we didn't constrain it to a certain interval on the x-axis. Now this graph, what does it look like? Let's see. It has this y-intercept at positive 3, just like that, or negative 8. You could try those numbers out for yourself. Let's do
Why
it.
did he
So
start
when x is
doing
greater than negative 3, so when x is
inequalities on
greater than
that?
negative 3, negative number, right? That's what we're assuming here. If it's going to be a negative number, then when you take negative x minus 3. So let's just figure out what x is equal to negative 3. So it's going to go through that line. That's if we didn't constrain it to a certain interval on the x-axis. Now this graph, what does it look like? Let's see. It has this y-intercept at positive 3, just like that. And where's its x-intercept? When y is equal to 0, x is negative 3. So it also goes through that point right there and has a slope of 1. So it would look something like this. That's what this graph looks like. Now, what we figured out is that this absolute value function, it looks like this purple graph when x is less than negative 3. So when x is less than negative 3, that's x is equal to negative 3 right there. When x is less than negative 3, it looks like this purple graph right there. So that's when x is less than negative 3. But when x is greater than negative 3, it looks like the green graph. It looks like that. So this graph looks like the strange V. When x is greater than negative 3, this is positive. So we have the graph of, we have a positive slope, but then when x is less than -3, we're essentially taking the negative of the function, if you want to view it that way. And so we have this negative slope. So you kind of have this v-shaped function, this v-shaped graph, which is indicative of an absolute value function.
Okay, I must have. It must be a minute since I did that. I mean, I remember solving the equations. I do not remember graphing. That's okay. Is he gonna do more solving absolute value equations? Okay, they'll do an exercise after this, so I'm gonna watch this one too.
In this video, we're going to see that absolute value equations can have 0, 1, or 2 solutions. And before we work some examples, let's just think about it graphically, why that is the case. So that's my x-axis, that's my y-axis, and let's say I had the graph of y is equal to something, I'll just call that a, times x minus something else, let's just call that b, plus something else. This is the general, or this, you could view this as the general absolute value equation. Well, this will have a graph something like this. I'm just going to draw it very roughly. It's going to have this type of shape. It could also be downward pointing if a right over here were negative. But a graph like this, it obviously would keep going. If you said, when does this expression on the right equal 0? Or another way of thinking about it, for what x values does y equal 0? So y equals 0 is right over here. And you could see from this graph that y is never equal to 0. So there's no x values that would make this left hand equal 0. So in that situation, you would have 0 solutions if you had 0 is equal to all of this stuff right over here. Now let's say that this value right over here is when y is equal to 2. So if you had 2 is equal to all of this stuff right over here, well, you would have exactly one x value that makes that true. Now let's say this over here is 5. So if you had the equation 5 is equal to all of this business, well, there would be 2 x values that make that true. So depending on the equation, you're going to have 0, 1, or 2 solutions. Now let's do some examples algebraically to see that happening. So let's say I had the equation -4 is equal to -5 times the absolute value of x minus 3, and then all of that plus 2. Pause this video and try to solve this absolute value equation. All right, now let's do
Wait, what was it? Is that negative y?
value equation.
Oh, go back and tell me what this is.
Absolute value have 0, 1, or 2 solutions. Now let's do some examples algebraically to see that happening. So let's say I had the equation -4 is equal to -5 times the absolute value of x minus 3, and then all of that plus 2. Pause this video and try to
Okay, so I got 2 and -4.
solve this absolute value equation. All right, now let's do this together. So what I try to do is isolate the absolute value part, the way that you would manipulate any algebraic equation. So we can start
This
off
is
by subtracting
they can't like move that out the way.
2 from both sides, so that we get rid of that plus 2 over there.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to get -4 minus 2 is -6 is equal to -5 times the absolute value of x minus 3, and then that's
And -1 is equal to x
now
minus
let's
3.
divide
Then
both
x
sides of
minus
this
3 is
equation
equal
by
to 1,
negative
or
5.
x minus 3 is equal to negative 1.
Negative 5, divide by negative 5. And of course, we're going to get 6 fifths is equal to the absolute value of x minus 3. Now, this is where it gets a little bit interesting.
Wait,
If the
what?
absolute value,
Oh, boo me. See, this is why I need to get back in the habit, because I keep making like silly mistakes. I'm not paying attention to details. That's not a good habit to form, because yeah, I added 5. Like, that don't even make sense. Moving too fast. All right. So actually, 6 over 5 equal to absolute value of x minus 3. So x minus 3 equals 6 over 5, or x minus 3 equals negative 6 over 5. Okay, so 21 over 5, or 9 over 5.
of something is equal to 6 fifths, that means that that something, that x minus 3, could be equal to 6 fifths, but it also means that x minus 3 could be equal to negative 6 fifths. How do I know that? Well, if x minus 3 is equal to negative 6 fifths, you take the absolute value of that, you get 6 fifths. If it's equal to 6 fifths and you take the absolute value of that, well, then you're going to get 6 fifths again. So these are two possible solutions. So let's solve it. So if we add 3 to both sides of this equation, we're going to get x is equal to 3 plus 6 fifths. If you add 3 to both sides of this equation, you get x is equal to 3 minus 6 fifths. So 3 is the same thing as 15 over 5. 15 over 5 plus 6 over 5 is equal to 21 fifths in this situation. And over here, this is equal to 15 over 5 minus 6 over 5, which is equal to 9 over 5. So here, we clearly had two solutions. It was kind of like this scenario right over here. Two x values gave us that y value. Let's look at two more examples. So let's say that I had the equation 6 minus the absolute value of 2x plus 3 is equal to 6. Pause this video and see if you can solve this.
Well, you got a 6 on both sides. So those gonna factor out. I mean, those gonna cancel each other out anyway. I just got one solution basically for both. I got like -3/2.
All right, once again, let's try to isolate the absolute value. Let's subtract 6 from both sides. And we are going to get, on the left-hand side, we're just going to have negative absolute value of 2x plus 3 is going to equal to 0. Well, we can multiply both sides by -1 or divide both
Do
sides
you
by -1. And you're
distribute
going to get the absolute
negatives
value
into
of
the
2x
absolute
plus 3
values?
is still going to be equal to 0. And so that means that 2x plus 3 could be equal to 0. And that's it.
Yeah, it's the
Because
same. Either
if it,
way.
it's not like there's a positive version of 0 and a negative version of 0. There's just 0. If the absolute value of something is 0, well, that thing inside the absolute value sign must be equal to 0. And then you just solve from here. If you subtract 3 from both sides, we get 2x is equal to -3. Divide both sides by 2, and we get x is equal to -3/2. And here we had one solution. And a good hint is that when we isolated the absolute value sign here, on the right-hand side you got a 0. If on the right-hand side you got a positive number, you'd have two solutions. If on the right-hand side you get a 0, you're going to have one solution. And as we're about to see, if on the right-hand side, when you isolate the absolute value, you get a negative value, well, it's impossible to take the absolute value of something and get a negative value, and then you would have no solutions. But let's look at an example of that. And I'm going to do this in purple, just for the sake of variety. So let's say I have 3 times the absolute value of -4x plus 7 is equal to 1. Well, let's subtract 7 times the absolute value of -4x plus 7 is equal to 1. Well, let's subtract 7 from both sides, and we are going to get 3 times the absolute value of -4x is equal to -6. Let's divide both sides by 3, and we are going to get the absolute value of -4x is equal to -2. Well, how can I take the absolute value of anything and get a -2? This is impossible. This will have no solution. So we've looked at all of the scenarios over here. 2 solutions, 1 solution, or no solutions.
Okay, I see. So actually, let's cross all that out. The thing about math is like you gotta pay attention to the details. And baby boy trying to wake up. Alright, so 2 times the absolute value of 4x plus 5 is equal to 0. So then the absolute value of 4x plus 5 is equal to 0. So 4x plus 5 equals 0. X equals -5/4. No, wait, I almost did that backwards. Negative 5 over 4. Okay, and then 8 equals 3 times absolute value of x minus 7 plus 4. Here, I can turn the music back up right now. Alright, so 8 equals 3 times absolute value of x minus 7 plus 4. And alright, the things to look out for is when you see the absolute value equal to a negative number, then you're gonna have no solution. So I'm sure they're gonna throw one of those in there. Which is basically gonna be this one. Because negative 4, you're gonna subtract 7. So it's gonna be negative 11. Then you're gonna divide by 4, it's still gonna be a negative number. So this one has no solution. This one only has one solution. Alright, so he said You can either have one solution, you can either have no solution, you can have one solution, or you can have two solutions. That's the options when you work with the absolute value um, equations. So there's only one solution. I think I still have to, I think I gotta do the quiz. Oh my gosh. Please don't let it have rates. Is this like a, this might be a quiz too. This might be a bigger, um, this might be like the entire unit. So here, this is how far along I am right now. Yeah, quiz 2 is the last part, I think. I could be wrong. We'll see. Last time I did the quiz, I thought I was done. And then I still have more lessons. So I hope that this is the end of this unit. 6p minus 94. So P is less than, ooh, they're making me put my own answer in here. P is less than 30 over 11. I don't always check my answers, but I think if I was like trying to get credit for this class or I had to turn in the homework or something, I will always check my solution before, because you can just do that and then you'll know if it's right or not. Negative x minus 6. So they try to be tricky, but this one will have a solution, because if you negative x, when you divide the negative out, then you do get a positive 7 on that side. So negative x plus, what am I doing? I got the wrong thing written down. Okay. Negative absolute value of negative x minus 6 equal to negative 7. Right? So we can get rid of the negatives. And then that should give us a solution. So negative x minus 6 is equal to 7, or negative x minus 6 is equal to negative 7. I got 1 and -13. Oh, I remember this is not the rate one, but okay. E designs and sells t-shirts for $13 each. This is like graphing like an inequality. Oh, it's just a solution. Okay. E designs and sells t-shirts for $13 each. E has to spend $280 per month plus $950 per t-shirt. T is the number of t-shirts ordered in a month. Represent the number of t-shirt orders where E at least. Okay, so 950 times the number of t-shirts. $280. Oh, they got the calculator right here. Oh, I messed that up. The t-shirts are $13. In this, they can spend $280 per month plus $950 per t-shirt. It's weird when the music just pauses for a minute. I really want to finish this quiz, but I also feel like it's a quiz and a test coming up. Oh, yeah, because I'm tired. And I feel like I should let some of it digest. Because I feel like I'm in my brain. This is way I'm not even seeing. Like it's more complicated than it's supposed to be for some reason. Because my brain is tired now. But I think that's fine. I'm gonna leave it here because I have the quiz and I have a test before I can go to the next unit. And the test is, I definitely don't have the brain capacity for that because I know I'm gonna have to do like some type of rates and yeah. Not that it's like super complicated, but yeah, I've been up all day, so I feel good about my progress, honestly. So I can't complain. So one last thing I really want to look at is what is the overall, how many units do I have in this? Jeez. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Like quadratics and multiplying and factoring, difference of squares, all that. I need refreshing on all this. So this seems like it might take me, I'm like hesitant to say it's gonna take me the whole month. It might take me more like 2 weeks to finish this. But it also depends on me having some consistent study time. And then the pre-calculus is the next one, I think. And I care a lot about that one too. The pre-calculus one is more relevant because, not more relevant, but it's a little bit more critical to me because I have to either pass a pre-calc or calc class for my program admissions. So pre-calculus is a lot too. Okay, So I think it's possible to do both of these this month as like a review, but I definitely have to I definitely have to buckle down and increase my study time. So I'm gonna ponder on that tonight. Not tonight. Why did I say that? I'm gonna ponder on that. Not tonight. I'm about to take my butt to bed, but sometime tomorrow I'll probably sit down and think about a little bit more of it. What is Callow doing? All right, let's do this. We are going to raid Callow because for some amazing chance he is still alive. So for Twitch, we're gonna go over to Callow Creation. And it's a daily thing for me also. Even though tomorrow's Saturday, I'll be back tomorrow. Discord is here. If you watch this on YouTube, I'm gonna put the links and everything in the description of the video. If you do want to follow my YouTube, then I would appreciate it because that is where I post more. You can find like all the past podcast episodes, more like developer advice and stuff like that, because again, I do teach and things like that, outside of my own learning journeys that I'm on. So I have other resources and stuff there depending on where you are in your developer journey. But in the meantime, I really appreciate y'all being here, and we're going to go over and support Callow, and I will see y'all again later today, technically, on Saturday for our day 74. Everybody have a good evening or good night, whatever time it is for you.